her body cannot physically handle the THC that's in there.
Well, she should. Yeah, you got to be more careful.
That's what the problem was.
Yeah, she should probably. If she can't handle it, then she's better stop smoking weed, or she better find a THC pen or a hemp replacement or something.
Yeah.
Is that what they told her? They told her that that reaction she got was from the weeds.
Yeah, it's the fact that she physically cannot handle the THC that's in it.
She might have an adverse reaction to the THC. It just depends on if she's doing sativa or indica. Body versus brain. The type of weed you get, one affects the brain, one affects the body. Wherever you're trying to relax, she probably just can't. She probably doesn't process one better than the other. So if I were her, I'd just stop altogether. It ain't worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, I quit a long time ago, but I don't know. Because we have a bunch of cannabis clubs out here that we can just walk into just with the California ID. And I feel like if I wanted to, I can just go to the store and I don't have to worry about like having weird shit mixed in there, right?
Well, the thing is that for Cali, though, it's one of the few states where it's fully legalized, like recreationally out in public. You can't do that. Like, it's funny, like in Florida, we have no permit open carry here, but we don't have that. Like, I literally can take that 9mm out of my sock drawer. I can tuck that shit in my waistband, and someone pisses me off or threatens me, I can fucking shoot him dead center in public. The rule is they actually recommend I kill him and empty the clip. Because if I shoot him in the knee, Florida allows them to sue me, even if it was in defense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I got to kill a motherfucker to use my gun without getting in trouble. So, are we live? What the fuck?
Yeah, we are.
Oh my God. Why are we talking about this?
Why not? We're going to talk about Saturday night's main event at some point today. We were supposed to do our NXT review earlier today, but we weren't able to. But we'll probably do that tomorrow or some other time and put it out at some point this week because NXT was pretty crazy. But first, we're going to get the Saturday night's main event predictions. I don't want to say out the way because I'm actually pretty excited about some of these matches. A couple of them, maybe. And we're going to hear what the Snug crew thinks about all this.
Really quickly, I'd just like to say, because I didn't know we were live, Snug Wrestling does not now, nor has it ever, nor will it ever endorse the use of any kind of prescription or unprescripted narcotic, including cannabis, nor do we endorse any kind of real-world violence in regards to firearms, unless for safety, the military, or self-defense. We do not recommend the use, nor do we endorse the use of any of that in any way that would be harmful to you as a child under the age of 18, or anybody who might be dealing with anything of the mental faculty order. And if you do need help regarding firearms, please do call 988 and talk to somebody.
Don't we have like a fucking THC or like hemp drink as a sponsor?
Yeah, but there's a difference between that and us full-blown talking about fucking marijuana recreationally and buying in a store, and it might be laced with fentanyl and all that other shit I just talked about when I didn't see the fucking timer. Thanks, Edgar. A warning next time. We only have, all these people, all these 5 different platforms we stream to with certain, I don't know, terms and conditions of shit we can't say.
Yeah, well, usually when the little red light is on, it means we're live.
Yeah, except that little red light's less than an inch wide at the top left of my screen. I was looking at you. Heads up next time.
Yeah. Anyway, it's all good. Welcome back to Snug Wrestling, everybody. This weekend is going to be full of wrestling again. Saturday night's main event, we got Lucha Libre AAA. AEW also holds Collision, so I'm pretty pumped for this weekend. So let's get into these matches. We got 4 matches and potentially like an angle that they might shoot with Roman Reigns. That same day, Roman Reigns is scheduled to be there because it's in New York. It's Madison Square Garden, the legendary arena for the WWE. So I think it's only right that they have one major star in there. Roman Reigns. Also CM Punk and Cody Rhodes will be there. So, I mean, Gunther, Sami, you can kind of say it's kind of stacked. Some of the women like Paige, Those are some big names. So it kind of feels like they're bringing out a lot of the big names for this Saturday night's main event for Madison Square Garden. However, some of the matches don't really feel like it's a big fight feel, you know. But let's get started with one of the matches that actually does feel like a big fight feel. And it is the tag team match that was put together last week on Friday Night SmackDown. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes are going to be facing each other at SummerSlam, are forced to be in a tag team versus Gunther and Sami Zayn. And this one is going to be interesting. This is one of the ones I'm looking forward to because Gunther and Sami, they haven't really been getting along a whole lot lately. You know, they've been kind of feuding a little bit at each other's throats. They had a few altercations going back a month or two. And are they going to be able to work together at Saturday night's main event? And also you got, you know, the SummerSlam match between Cody and Punk kind of lingering coming up. So it makes you wonder if they're going to be able to get along. But we got 4 major stars here. Who do you guys got? What do you guys think is going to happen here?
It's an interesting dynamic, mainly because we have 2 people in this match out of the 4 that are both on opposite sides of the ring here that a lot of people classify as heels, and I don't know if they're actually heels yet. One being Jey Uso, whom seems to be going back towards his crash out mentality, and we've had debates over weeks and weeks and weeks. What did I say something wrong, Toxic?
Jay's not in this match.
Oh, did I say Jay? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Cody and
Punk.
Fuck, my bad. I'm so sorry. One person. I don't know why my mind went to fucking Jay. All right, cut, reset. I completely forgot we're doing predictions tonight. I'll just be honest with our viewers. And I hopped on like 2 minutes after I realized. So we have one person. So that either fucking way, the dynamic is very interesting. We have Punk, who's beaten Gunther. We have Cody, who's beaten Gunther. And we have Sami, who's beaten Gunther. And Sami is the dynamic that I was just speaking about in regards to the 2, but it's actually one, is Sami. A lot of people feel like Sami's a heel. Hell, they've got him teamed with Gunther on the heel side. But I don't even know if we can call him a heel yet. Like, genuinely speaking, we have not had his full definitive heel turn moment, in my opinion. I mean, he won to a massive ovation in Saudi Arabia, held it for 9 days. He still gets some cheers from people. When he's jumping and attacking Cody Rhodes, half the fans enjoy it. He still fucking gets in Gunther's face and attacks Gunther, who's also a heel. And like, you know, like he's still doing babyface stuff, but people think he's a bad guy. So to me, I'm going to put Sami in the tweener category. And Sami and Gunther's dynamic is going to be very interesting between tagging. I don't see them tagging each other gently. I see rough tags. Maybe one of the tags, Gunther chest chops him to be a dick. Like, I can see that happening. I don't think Cody and Punk wind up having a problem coexisting. They're still friends outside of the initial challenge at SummerSlam. But it does beg the question. It is Saturday night's main event. It's technically a glorified televised house show. You could say, oh, it's just an easy night to put the faces over and no one's really going to give a shit. But I got a weird feeling that Gunther and Sami are going to win this. And I don't know if it's because there's going to be some kind of dissolvement of Punk and Cody somewhere in the match. A mistake gets made. Someone gets hit thinking it's the other one, but it's really one of Sami and Gunther's shots from behind, and Cody and Punk confuse it for thinking that they hit each other, and then they start to break down. Because that's the only way I can really see them turning on each other. They're still both baby faces. They're both friends. And they've already got the title match set up, so there's no reason to have animosity when it's going to be a friendly challenge at SummerSlam. But I do think something has to happen that either gets Cody and Punk to turn on each other during this match, or even slightly, or the ref goes down and somebody interferes. But it's going to be a very interesting night because, again, you could argue, just give it to the faces. Who cares? But then I also feel like that's too easy. And I think Gunther and Sami could benefit a lot in this story from a win. But I will go Gunther and Sami because I feel like it's too easy to go Punk and Cody.
Well, if you know me, I obviously don't want Gunther to win, so Yeah, I got Punk and Cody mainly because I mean, what the fuck? I just hate Gunther. Not the person, the character. But sorry to drag Sammy down with him, but Gunther is just way better at chasing the title in this situation. He is technically chasing the title, but I mean, that's what he's doing right now. And it looks good, and he needs to stay like that. And if you decide to put the Undisputed Championship on him at some point down the road, make the reign actually watchable and enjoyable. But yeah, I'm biased on this one because I fucking hate Gunther.
I am also going with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, and here is why on that. They have the main event, one of the two main events for sure, for SummerSlam. Why in the world would they have them lose here if they want to keep them extremely strong for that main event, for that friendly title match? That's my biggest thing on it. So I personally am going with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk.
If I can interject really quick just to answer that question, Tommy. I don't think putting over Gunther and Sammy does anything harmful to Cody and Punk at all. It's Cody and Punk. They're the top 5 biggest stars in the industry, not just the company, the industry. I think a loss here doesn't diminish them at all because neither one of them is losing to the other or to some random other person in a one-on-one match that would dilute their individual momentum. If they both lose their momentum, even if it went down a notch, it goes down a notch together. So I don't think that them losing here hurts them at all. I do, however, think that a win over them via Gunther and Sammy, I think that does wonders for Sammy, specifically in the story. I also think it furthers Gunther's ego when we get back to the next SmackDown and promos and everything, where he's going to bitch and moan to Nick Aldis. Now, there is one other prediction here that could happen if Gunther and Sammy lose, and that's that Nick Aldis gets involved on Gunther, which I don't think we've mentioned. But that would be my response to what you said. I don't think you're incorrect, but I don't think that this hurts Cody and Punk at all if they lose, which is why I went Gunther and Sammy.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. I think something's got to happen between Punk and Cody because I think that this is what is going to be the beginning of, the road to SummerSlam, right? Between these two guys. So just to hype up the match and to, I guess make it more intense, I think there's going to be some type of shenanigans there with Punk and Cody not getting along or something along those lines. But also the fact that the way that this match was put together, now you guys mentioned Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis put Gunther in this match, but Gunther originally wanted to be in the title match at SummerSlam. But Nick Aldis said, no, you know what? Pretty much F you, Gunther. You're gonna be in Saturday Night's main event and stay. It kind of felt like a punishment for Gunther. So I don't think Gunther really cares about winning this match as much as just hurting people, it feels like. So, I mean, Sami Zayn too, he's probably really pissed off at CM Punk. So you got some heat there between those two guys after CM Punk stole Sami's title. I'm going to go with, man, this one's hard, man. I don't think anyone wins here, dude. I think it's going to be some like DQ or it's going to be like a big brawl, a big pull apart. Something crazy is going to happen in this match. I think everyone's just going to fucking start beating each other up. That's what I think.
I think that that's a really good point too, because I think this is the only match in the card most people are going to give a shit about if we're being honest here. Outside of this, I think the only other high profile thing on the show is going to be Roman and Jalen Brunson. But I think you make a good point. There is a massive possibility this whole match just breaks down entirely. And then that's when we get either Punk or Cody hits the other by accident. And then someone fires the first shot and the other out of those two. There's also another instance I'd like to bring up that I have a feeling about. Is you made a really great point there, Edgar, when you said This feels like a punishment for Gunther. He doesn't care. So what if he gets to the match halfway through, he just says, fuck it, hops off the apron. I'm out of here. I don't need this. And just abandons Sami toward the finish. And then Sami loses because of Gunther. That also furthers his issues with Gunther that they've been having in this whole mix as well. But I could easily see Gunther abandoning Sami. I definitely see him abandoning Sami before Sami abandons him. I don't see Cody or Punk abandoning each other at all. But I definitely think that we've got a lot of interesting possibilities here. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that idea. Because it makes sense for Gunther to. He doesn't gain anything from being there. Like, he wanted to be in the title match at SummerSlam. So, yeah, I can see Gunther doing that. And leaving Sami alone with Cody and Punk in the middle of the ring, I think the fans would eat that up. I think the fans would love to see Sami get his bell rung by both Cody and Punk at the same time. Which also, like you said, it builds up the feud between Sami and Gunther, but it also builds up the feud between Sami and Punk as well. So I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's great, man. And it's all taking place at Madison Square Garden, the home of WWE and arenas under the bright lights. And when it comes to bright lights, you might need sunglasses. So if you're tired of flimsy sunglasses that look the same as everybody else's, check out Aquila, a proud sponsor of Snug Wrestling. These handcrafted limited run shades are straight out of Los Angeles, made from 50% recycled materials like plant-based cellulose acetate and titanium. They've got UV blocking sun lenses, blue light options, and even prescription lenses, all built to last, and they look clean as hell. Plus, Aquila's serious about sustainability. They're a member of the nonprofit organization 1% for the planet. And that means 1% of every sale is donated to a reputable environmental organization around the globe. Multiple. Because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get an exclusive 10% off any order with the code SNUG at checkout. That's SNUG, SNUG at checkout. Now, full transparency, when you use that code, we do earn a small commission, but it helps keep the show rolling and it gets you top tier eyewear in return. So go to Aquila.la. That's Aquila, AKILA.LA, and level up your look responsibly.
All right, let's go with the first women's match that we have here on the list. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. I still can never say her name right. Is it Valkyrie or Valkyria?
It's Valkyria. You also always mention championships, like as champion, you go, they're the tag team championship, or you'll say, you'd always do it. It's all right.
But I know. Yeah. All right. Lyra, she snapped and turned on Bayley a few weeks ago. Lyra was feeling like she was being held back by Bayley. Bayley, who's the veteran, who's like a mastermind in wrestling, a lot of experience. And Lyra was like, nah, that's not really for me. You haven't really done shit for me. And now we got like this, I guess this darker side of Lyra where she's a little bit crazier, a little bit more mental in the head, I guess. So, I mean, Lyra or Bayley, I kind of want to see Lyra win this, but also Bayley is one of the superstars in the WWE that doesn't really win a whole lot. And every time she loses, a lot of fans get really upset. So I can imagine if Bayley loses, the fans are not going to be happy, but also you kind of want to put over the younger talent, Lyra. So I'm kind of 50-50 on this one, but how are you guys feeling this?
Yeah, so far I'm not a big fan of Lyra's new gimmick. On Monday night, just the over-the-top bullshit with the t-shirt they cut holes in and fucking it made her look ratty, and they put like makeup on her and smeared it to make it look like she'd been rummaging around in a fucking dumpster. But her shoes look like they had just gotten polished. Yeah, this is like crackhead Lyra. This is Lyra like tweaking straight off a rock right out of 1983. And it's funny because I'm watching Snowfall right now. But yeah, Lyra looking like she got hit by that crack epidemic. Here's the annoying thing here, because as a massive Bayley fan, an extremely big Bayley fan, whom Bayley on Monday listed her accolades. She said, I know that everything you're saying is bullshit and that you don't even believe it. I'm the first ever women's Grand Slam champion, okay? I am one of the 4 horsewomen. I'm a future Hall of Famer. I'm a Royal Rumble winner. I am one half of the first ever women's tag team champions. So like, put some respect on my name, bitch. You've been here for a cup of coffee. 2 years, okay, good for you. I've been here for almost 15. Okay, this is Bayley we're talking about. And fans do get upset when Bayley loses because we know that Bayley is so much more. People talk about the 4 horsewomen, and Lyra even mentioned it in that promo where she said, you're the worst of the 4 horsewomen. That's funny because for the longest time, the worst or the weakest link of the 4 horsewomen was Becky, because everybody agreed that it was thanks to Bayley and Sasha at those takeover events in NXT that brought the women's evolution closer to the fold. And then everybody knows Charlotte Flair was tearing it down with Natalya on her debut night. Sasha and Charlotte's feud. But now Sasha's a main champion, holder over in AEW. And it took getting punched in the face for Becky to finally hit stardom. So now you could say that out of all of the 4 horsewomen, Bayley might seem the least decorated on paper, right? Or at least when you say it, she seems like the least successful. But she's won tons of championships. The problem here is that you just did a gimmick change with Lyra. You just turned her. You have to now follow through and justify that heel turn by showing that her turning heel is in her character's favor as far as progression goes. So you can argue heavily, Lyra has to win to justify turning heel at all. Otherwise, everything she said on Monday and her beating down Bayley was pointless. She actually needs to win here to not look like a fucking moron. Because if you're going to get your ass beat after you jump somebody and then talk all that shit, you better back it up. Otherwise, you lose a lot of credibility. And her entire problem with Bayley this entire past 2 weeks was that she feels like being with Bayley for the last year and a half has killed her credibility. So if you feel like being with her has killed your momentum and your credibility, you have to beat her to prove that you're right to the audience and the fans. So I think that we've got to go Lyra here, as much as it pains me, because I cannot stand. I just don't give a fuck about Lyra at all. I can't. But it's got to be her, because it's the only way that any of this is going to matter.
I'm excited to see how Lyra wrestles in this match because she's heel and I've never seen her wrestle as a heel, but especially in this character that seems depressed, heartbreaking, insane, if you can even. But I hope we get to learn and see more about this version of Lyra because it has me hooked right now, but can it keep me hooked is the main question. But when it comes down to who wins, honestly, either of them could use it because they both have been eating shit for a while. But I'm picking Bayley because I think they go at it at SummerSlam and then Lyra gets the win there. So, but like I said, either of them could use it because they haven't really gotten much. So, yeah.
Here's the thing. Blood, I completely get what you're saying, and it's why I will gladly say this could go either way because of that. Because you can massively argue that both women need this win here. Lyra, for that exact reason. Then you've got Bayley, who's been getting nothing but shit for years, ever since she left her old faction and got kicked out of it. So, overall, the argument of who needs this win more, it could go either way. But I'm going Bayley for that exact reason. I think that Bayley needs this more than Lyra does.
Yeah, and I like where Toxic where his head is with this thing. If Bayley wins it at Saturday night's main event, okay, cool. But if they run it back at SummerSlam, that's the bigger stage, that's the bigger match. That would be a better spot for Lyra to be put over. And that's something I wouldn't mind seeing. But really, if Lyra wins at Saturday night's main event, I wouldn't be mad at that either. So for this one, I'm not even gonna pick a winner. Like either way, I'm good. Like Bayley, like you guys said, she can use a win. So can Lyra. It's funny how this story played out because they were in a tag team together and they broke up because they kept losing together. They're like, hey, we suck. Screw you. Let's fight it out, me and you. So it's like they were put in a situation where they both have to win. Like it's just funny how that dynamic is. Like they they were both eating shit, but then one of them's gonna have to eat shit at SummerSlam potentially.
It's kind of crazy too, because I think people forget how long the story's been going on. It's kind of reminiscent of the stuff with Rhea and Io and the Kabuki Warriors, where the story was going on for so long. People at one point just started to forget when it even started. Like, I mean, Bayley and Lyra were teaming together before WrestleMania 41 last year. And then they just randomly take Bayley out of it. And then the surprise tag partner for Lyra at WrestleMania is, whoa. And Becky comes out. They win. And then they redefend it against Raquel and Liv the next night on Raw. And then lose. And then Becky just turns heel. Then we don't see Bayley for several weeks. And then now we're inserted in a three-way story between Bayley, Becky, and Lyra. But they were still technically listed as a team. They were just infighting. And then they reform their allegiance as a team after they get done with Becky in the middle of last summer. Like, these two have been intertwined for the better part of a year and a half. So I think, again, to reiterate just the genius of our boy Toxic here, though I'm still going to go Lyra, I do agree that it makes perfect sense for Bayley to win if you want to give Lyra the bigger win on SummerSlam, but I will caveat a second prediction, or at least a possibility they could take. I could see this ending in a no contest because Lyra freaks the fuck out so much she gets disqualified, or they cause DQ, or one of them won't get off the ropes, or the other, something happens, a double count out, because this is Saturday night's main event. They don't give a fuck about Saturday night's main event. It's just another thing on the card for them to suck money out of the WWE fandom while also keeping their agreement with Peacock. So for me, I think that if there was any match on the card other than the tag match we did first, that you could say, oh, let's end it with no contest, I think this would be the one, to where neither of them has to lose any momentum going into SummerSlam. And then the fans for Bayley aren't upset that she eats another loss. Or if Lyra loses, it doesn't feel pointless to have turned her heel, because the moment she loses, the fans are be like, then why'd you turn her heel the second the match is over? So if you no contest this and then get a definitive winner at SummerSlam, and I do believe it should be Lyra there because Toxic's right on the money with it, then I do think that would be a better decision. I would rather have no contest, rematch at SummerSlam, Lyra gets the win on the bigger stage. I think that makes the most sense to satisfy the fans, the story, keep Lyra's new character intact, but also get us to the next match on the bigger stage in 2 weeks.
So Saturday night's main event is still on Peacock?
Yeah, brother. It's on Peacock all the way through the end of this year.
Okay. That was one of the things I wasn't too sure.
It is on
But
Netflix if you have a VPN.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. The women's tag team championships are going to be defended at Saturday night's main event this weekend in Madison Square Garden. Brie Bella and Paige are going to be defending versus the Fatal Influence. A couple of weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown, the Fatal Influence, I believe it was a non-title match versus Brie Bella and Paige, where the Fatal Influence defeated them. So that automatically put them as number one contenders for the tag team titles. And it wasn't until then where I didn't really care too much about the Fatal Influence. I mean, even on NXT, they were a little quiet. They were just, the background of JC Jane, part of that faction. But now, they're in Saturday Night's Main Event. They're wrestling on SmackDown. They're up against two major names like Brie Bella and Paige. I think this is going to be a good match, at least for the Fatal Influence. They can show what they can do. And, I mean, they're a younger tag team. Athletically in the ring, I think they got Brie Bella and Paige beat, if I'm being honest. These girls came up from NXT. Most of the women on NXT are badasses, so I hope that they have a good showing, but I don't know if they're going to go crazy. The WWE is going to go crazy and put the belts on them. So I'm going to go with Brie, Bella, and Paige retaining, but Fatal Influence is going to have a really, really good showcasing.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there, where just it's a new crop, it's a new generation, it's a new crop of talent, man. Every generation will always be more athletically gifted just by sheer evolution, will be athletically gifted more than the generation that came before. It's just how it works. I mean, that's how we got to today. You went from the Simon Gotchas to like Ricochet. You know what I'm saying? Like, the girls in NXT are insane. They're fucking phenomenal athletes. If you disagree, you're an idiot. I don't know how you look at how those girls work and don't think for 5 seconds that athletically in the ring, stamina-wise, they outwork nearly every woman that's been on the roster for the last 10 to 12 years. They just do. They outwork them all. The difference is how you outwork somebody, because you can out-wrestle somebody because you're more athletically inclined, you have more stamina, you are more athletically gifted. But then there's the veteran factor. And you have people like Brie, and you have people like Paige who are smart enough to know how to get these girls over. They're smart enough, they've been doing this long enough that they know how to hone in on your strengths and then play to those strengths to get the audience to engage with you, but make sure you look good. Brie and Paige have no dissolute, like they have no fucking fantasies thinking that they are staying on top forever. They know that they're in the part of their career where they're just having fun. They've got nothing to prove. I mean, Brie's a Hall of Famer already. Paige is on her fucking way and should already be in the Hall of Fame if the Bellas are already in there. But they know that this is about getting over this next generation of talent. So what I expect Saturday is that these girls are going to go in there and they're going to showcase the hell out of Fatal Influence. They're going to. So, and that's what I love when I see these matches, veterans versus rookies. They're really going to make sure these girls look great. But I do agree with you. I don't see Brie and my goth goddess mommy upon high, Paige, losing to Fatal Influence. By the way, for Christmas, I don't need nothing but give me a tag team of Paige and Rhea Ripley, please. But other than that, when it comes down to it, I see them retaining because I still think WWE is in a holding pattern with these titles. I think they're really trying to wait to see how long it's going to take for Nikki to come back. And then the Bellas are going to turn on Paige. And then they're going to steal the title from her. And the Bellas are the tag team champions again. I think that's what's happening here. Let's not forget, when Nikki came back last year, she was a face at first and then automatically turned heel. And then when Liv Morgan got injured, when they couldn't have their match at Evolution like they were supposed to, they randomly kept Nikki off TV for a couple of weeks, and she was magically just a baby face again. But they had every intention of making her a fucking heel. They were trying to. She was wrestling like a heel. So when it comes down to it, title retain, but it gets retained with the Fatal Influence walking out looking a hell of a lot better than they came in.
Yeah, it was as soon as Brie Bella came back that Nikki was like, "Oh, I'm a babyface now."
I could give a shit less about this because it's mainly because I just don't like Fatal Influence and how they have been booked. so far on the main roster. As Tommy says, Jace is the only one that should have been brought up. The other two aren't really ready for a spot like this. I felt they could have had at least Lainey Reed. Fallon, I wouldn't be that mad, but Lainey Reed, she could have been down in NXT for a little bit longer just so she can get some accolades or stuff like that. But I get it. They're supposed to be the heels that absolutely no one likes, but they shouldn't make me feel less interested in a match or a story. And I do think Brie and Paige are retaining mainly for when Nikki comes back and we get that whole shebang bang. So yeah.
Yeah, we're all in agreement here, boys. It's gotta be Brie Bella and Paige retaining those tag team titles because I'm with Toxic here. Fatal Influence just aren't ready for a spotlight like this. They're not ready for the tag team titles yet. Plus, these girls have only been here for a goddamn cup of coffee. So I don't think that they're getting the tag titles. They will absolutely be shown off like there's no goddamn tomorrow. Paige will make sure of that. But overall, Fallon Henley and Lainey Reid should have been on NXT a little bit longer. They just should not have been called up with Jacy Jayne. I will gladly say it, and I've said it while we were doing NXT reviews too, that Jacy Jayne is the only one out of that entire faction that stands out to me. Jacy is the only one that should have been called up between the three. They needed a little bit more time to cook in NXT before they were called up.
Yeah, I agree. I'm honestly surprised that Jacy Jayne just wasn't called up and put into the U.S. title division for the women. I feel like that would have been a much better fit for her. And that being said, when we look at the deck, you can argue the best, most experienced wrestler in this match is Paige. She's been wrestling since she was 15 years old. Her family had a promotion. She's been wrestling for 20 years. Okay, 20 years. Okay, so she knows what the hell she's doing. You can also argue the weakest link in this match might be Brie. Brie, I feel like, is still shaking off ring rust. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. She's had some decent moments, but I think her timing's still off here. But I do think that on the other side of this, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, that let's just hypothetically say, because we're all in agreement. So, that means the universe is going to go, nah, we're going the other way. Fuck you. Fatal Influence are taking the titles because we all agree. But I think let's just flip the coin. Let's say Fatal Influence win. If you were going to have a bunch of newcomers who might not even feel like they're all ready, and except for one of them, and you're going to have them win any title just within, what have they been on the main roster, a month? Okay. The tag titles, the ones that no one really gives a shit about, are probably the only titles you could actually do this with. And I don't think the fans would hate it.
Yeah, and also, ever since the John Cena retirement tour thing, they created Saturday Night's Main Event, or at least one of Saturday Night's main events, into hey, we're going to use this show to put over the younger talent. What was that one show that they had Sol Ruka on there?
It was the Saturday Night's Main Event, literally a week and a half or 2 weeks right before John Cena's last match. It was in late November.
Yeah, so I mean, they have a new tag team that just came up from NXT on this Saturday Night's Main Event. So it kind of feels like this Saturday Night's Main Event is kind of used for that. Exactly, to put over the younger talent. And yes, it's a glorified house show. It's not a PLE, but I mean, one would think that because they're in Madison Square Garden, because it's Saturday Night's Main Event, more people watch that show more than maybe Raw or SmackDown, So it puts a lot of more eyes on the Fatal Influence being put on this Saturday Night's Main Event versus Paige and versus Brie Bella. So I just hope they really, really they show out, they take advantage, the Fatal Influence, and they get more exposure. And if they win, that means that we're going to see them more on SmackDown and on Monday Night Raw, which honestly I would much rather prefer to see them than Brie Bella and Paige. I'm sorry, Blood, but
kiss my ass. You can say that about Brie. Paige belongs. But when it comes down to it, I think though I'm going Brie and Paige for the reasons I've already stated. I want to reiterate the fact, or at least iterate it if I haven't said it. I have no problem if Fatal Influence does win. I mean, look, even if they've been here for a month, again, to put the championships on them immediately, you throw them in the deep end and you're going to force them to swim. And sometimes the best way to get better and learn and acclimate to this new side of the business, because NXT TV, very different from main roster TV. Okay. The way that you're going to have to work on this stage, it's going to be sink or swim, and it's going to really show the back and the fans, and it's going to show them to themselves, can I do this or not? Or what do I have to do this? It's trial by fire, man. And sometimes people really, really kick it into fucking high gear and iron out those wrinkles when their back's up against the wall. You put these championships on them. Well, great. Now, every single Friday night for the foreseeable future, while they're champions, they're going to be forced to go out there and get attention, try harder, work harder, be better. Like, it's going to make them, because those titles come with a new responsibility. And now you have to live up to the responsibility of being champion. So again, I'm fine with either. I just don't know if it's necessary right now. Not against it. I just don't know if you have to do that right now. But you could, and I would have no problem either way.
Well, we'd like to tell you guys about our friends from Distill Union. We are proud to be sponsored by Distill Union. They've been around since 2011, and Distill Union has been creating everyday essentials that prove less really is more. They thoughtfully engineer products. They're designed to solve small problems that we all deal with every single day. From bulky wallets to messy keys and awkward phone setups, their Wally wallets are slim, stylish, and built with innovative magnetic closures to keep your cards and cash secure without a bulk. Their Ferris modular key organizers use magnets to keep your essentials connected in one clean, streamlined setup. Plus, their phone cases, their stands, and accessories bring everyday convenience together with timeless designs. Crafted for premium full-grain leather and backed by a 3-year warranty, Distill Union products are made to last and look better over time. Head to distillunion.com and use our promo code SNUG, S-N-U-G, to get 20% off your order. That's distillunion.com. Use promo code SNUG for 20% off. All right, the next match, I think this match is going to be what some people like to call the piss break match. Others call it the comedy relief. This is going to be the entertainment part of the show of Saturday night's main event. We're going to get Danhausen versus good old JD McDonagh from the Judgment Day. And as of late, Danhausen has been messing with a bunch of people, including the Judgment Day. He cursed Dominic Mysterio on Monday Night Raw during the Gauntlet match, which some people could say was the distraction that led to Dominic Mysterio being eliminated, and the ongoing backstage segments that Danhausen has been having with Judgment Day, as well as a bunch of other stars. So Danhausen has really been all over the place on Monday Night Raw with, being interacted with a bunch of people. But I think, no, this is going to be his second match on like one of these, I guess you can call this a PLE. His first official match was what? It was like Backlash, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, where he teamed up with the mini Danhausen or whatever. And I expect it to be nothing different than that. It was a lot of goofy shenanigans, a lot of funny stuff going on in there. So I think this is going to be just like that other match that we saw previously. And also JD McDonagh, he's pretty good at everything, even like the comedy stuff. Like, he's a really good seller. A seller, whatever you want to call it. So I think they're gonna work well together, and I'm actually looking forward to it because I want to see what type of shit they come up with.
I don't care. Look, I'm going to be that guy, and everybody can kiss my ass in the comments. Not everything in wrestling is for everybody, right? And before y'all go, you just don't get Danhausen. Eat a dick, okay? I get Danhausen's character. I get the gimmick. It's just not for me. I've been watching wrestling for a quarter of a fucking century. I've seen every goofy gimmick under the goddamn sun. Okay. I've seen everything. I've seen Little People's Court, for Christ's sakes. I've seen El Torito, a little person running around dressed as a bull, and the people in the ring believing that he's a bull. Okay. Like, I have seen things. I've seen anonymous GMs. I've seen Michael Cole wrestle in a singlet. Okay. I had to witness that. I witnessed that. I paid to witness that. So don't sit here and tell me that I don't get professional wrestling. I'm a former pro wrestler, okay? But not everything is for me. I have liked that WWE has gone to more serious stuff in the last several years. Is everything Triple H does great? No. Is everything out of the park? No. But I do like that we have more grounded stories a lot of the time, more grounded characters that feel like they're three-dimensional. And Danhausen is wildly entertaining. I'll give you that. He is entertaining. I can't say that he's not entertaining. I do think he's entertaining. It's just not entertainment that I'm interested in. So for me, when I look at JD McDonagh, an insane fucking performer, someone who needs a run with the goddamn Intercontinental Championship, by the way, just throwing that out there. He seems game for all of it, which is fine and dandy. And I'm glad that he's 100% down and game to have fun. But in ring, Danhausen doesn't do anything to impress me. Nothing he does is crazy. I think he's less skilled than Ethan Page. Ethan Page does nothing for me in ring. I think that his entertainment value is something that WWE's looking for. I think the kids like it. And I think this will be a match for the kids. And I think that's fine. I can't see JD winning because the curse is like broken as fuck. So when it comes down to it, I think Danhausen's going to win. And even if they somehow get the numbers game against him, he'll just curse one of them and some shenanigans are going to happen. He's going to win anyway. So I'm going Danhausen just because this motherfucker has, Toon Force at his disposal, for Christ's sakes. I mean, surprised he won't drop an anvil on JD's head and create a Wile E. Coyote size hole in the goddamn middle of the ring.
Oh God, this is definitely going to be a fun match to watch because it's the comedy aspect, and I normally enjoy what Danhausen does, but I really would like to see Danhausen in the ring a lot more. Yeah, he does. He might dare and on a SmackDown or Raw, and then maybe like a PLE or glorified house show. But even point is, I wanted to see him more in the ring, but I'm really interested in this match. As for what they have planned for each other, maybe fucking Danhausen's gonna pull out a comically large hammer and just bash JD's head in with it. So I don't know, but obviously Danhausen's gonna win. So
Yeah, it's very clear. It's gotta be Danhausen. I love me some Danhausen. I love my boy, but I will say this. Yes, there has been some ridiculous things on WWE TV, and yes, Danhausen is very much ridiculous. I am going to remind you that Pee Wee Wrestling in WWE exists, where it is little people wrestling, and everything is a whole lot smaller, including the commentators. So, just gonna put that out there that yes, there are in fact some extremely ridiculous things in WWE. There very much is. But the curse is OP. It's OP as hell. It brought the Knicks to the NBA Finals and won that shit. So just gonna put that out there that it's gonna be Danhausen beating JD McDonagh.
All right. And then it was also announced that good old Roman Reigns, the current world heavyweight champion, is going to be in Madison Square Garden. And it is in New York. So Jalen Brunson is also going to be there, player from the New York Knicks. So it's only right to have him there. So we got two champions that are going to be in the building together. Jalen Brunson is a 2026 NBA champion with his team. Roman Reigns is the world heavyweight champion with the WWE. But the big question is why? What are these two guys up to? What's up their sleeve? The only thing that I can guess, I would imagine, is going to have to be something related to SummerSlam and Seth Rollins. Kind of like the first match that we talked about, the tag team match. You got two guys that are going to be on that card. I mean, the only thing I can imagine Roman Reigns being here is to hype up SummerSlam, right? But what do you guys think?
I think it's going to be a circle jerk. I think it's going to be WWE glazing the NBA for a partnership for their new wrestling belt setter for the sports teams and shit. You know, that crap they do. I genuinely think it's going to be Roman Reigns or somebody presenting Jalen Brunson with his own custom New York Knicks title belt because they won the fucking whatever the fuck they won. And then they made New York look like the Avengers just got done saving it after they won. We saved the city. Everything's on fucking fire. I don't know. I think it's going to be some stupid circle jerk plug for the new WWE title belts they do for the sports teams. Maybe a special one for the Knicks winning the whatever World Championship Cup. I don't watch NBA. Someone scored a soccer goal. I don't fucking know. But like literally, I think it's just going to be Jalen getting involved in something. Maybe someone comes out to interrupt Roman. Maybe there's a Seth thing and Jalen's out there to get involved in an angle. Maybe Roman used the Knicks title to smack, Seth over the head. But if this better not be the main event of the show, because you know how Roman's contract works. He's either on first or he's on last. There is no in between. He's either going to come out first or he's going to come out last. I don't see him coming out in the middle of a match or in the middle of two matches as a buffer. But if Roman's here, I don't give a fuck about Jalen Brunson, okay? Wrestling fans, when we're watching wrestling, we don't give a fuck about other sports, especially when we're in the building to see one sport. We don't care what special fucking guest from another sport you have. We don't, okay? So the way I see it, this needs to involve Seth Rollins for this to even fucking matter. Because Roman lives in Florida, okay? If you're going to fly his ass all the way up to New York to do a fucking championship reveal to sell some shit, and tonight only it's 30% off, like, fuck you and the stupid Knicks championship you fucking wrote in on.
I genuinely have no idea what it could possibly do, what it could possibly be. It's either something with Seth or like Blood said, basically anything Blood just said, because I have no fucking clue on what Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, has to do with Jalen Brunson. I don't know.
Yeah, if anything were to have happened with this, Roman shouldn't even be in this spot. So if Danhausen did not have a match, here would have been the perfect spot to put him because of the fact that his curse brought them to the victory of the NBA Finals. So if anything, Danhausen and could get his praise from the other guy that I already forgot the name of. So overall, it means nothing if Seth does not show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, do you think like Danhausen's match is on first or second, and then he comes out later for this, and he's like, well, I help you win the world championship. So, in return, Danhausen would like $1 million in human monies, and he would like an Ulafala from you, tribal chief, and just do some stupid comedy shit. And when he's about to curse somebody, I could just see Roman uppercut smacking him, or fucking Jacob 5-2 puts him in the Tongan death grip. Like, I could see something like that happening, but like, genuinely speaking, there are only two things Jalen Brunson has anything to do with WWE. One, they put him in the 2K games as a character because it's 2K sports, the basketball series and the wrestling series. He's a fucking playable character, for Christ's sakes. Okay, which is so stupid. So this is either to cheap plug more copies of 2K26. It's on sale now on PlayStation because it's Christmas in July, or it's going to be plugging that championship. Like, this is so out of left field ridiculous. It's a waste of everybody's fucking time because it's not going to result in anything that matters. So I think that Seth needs to be involved in this, because if this just like results in like a Roman Danhausen Jalen skit, entertainment value for the people who want to see that, great for them. Pointless for everyone else who were hoping that we were going to get some substance out of Roman Reigns before SummerSlam.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that this involves Seth Rollins, because that just leads more exposure, you know, for their match at SummerSlam and for SummerSlam in general. Who's the team? Is there an NBA team from Minneapolis, Minnesota? I don't even know. But maybe someone from there.
Is that the Vikings, or is that...
That's the football team.
Oh, okay.
The Minnesota
NFL.
Timberwolves.
So if it ain't wrestling, I don't give a shit.
It's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe someone from the Timberwolves shows up and they're like, oh, I'm going to be in Seth Rollins' corner at, you know, Minnesota or something like that.
You take it back. Don't you will that shit into the world. Some celebrity manager, I'll be in your corner at SummerSlam bullshit. This needs to just stay these two. We do not need any repeat from fucking WrestleMania a la Cody and Randy with celebrity guests in major title event corners. Keep it far away.
I mean, if this is going to be a 2-night event, they're going to do as much fucking celebrity invitations as they possibly can, I would imagine. Or the other thing, worst case scenario, is maybe Jalen Brunson and the NBA has something that they want to plug on WWE TV, and it's a paid sponsorship that WWE made a bunch of money on, so.
Which it would be that title belt, because I think that because those logos for those championship teams are trademarked by the teams, I would imagine every sale is split between WWE and them, because it's a belt created by WWE's people, but it represents this IP over here. So if they're plugging something like that, that's why I said it's got to be like some special championship belt or something for the Knicks winning. That's the only thing that makes sense. And they're going to plug it in this segment because they're in New York, just like a month after they won, if not less. It's just going to be a waste of everybody's time if Seth's not involved. I mean, people are it's not a waste of time if Danhausen comes out because it's entertaining as fuck. It's a waste of time.
Well,
don't drag my tribal chief out there for comedy bullshit.
Not for the people in New York, man. They're going to be going crazy for Jalen Brunson. Good
no
old
offense to the people of New York.
But fuck Jalen Brunson. No.
Fuck the Knicks.
All right, let's get up out of here.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you for supporting the show as always. You can catch us live every Monday night after Raw and every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific for our NXT post-show reviews. Then every Thursday at those same times on TikTok Live, where we discuss random or relevant wrestling topics and answer your fan questions live. And every Sunday at those exact same times for our SmackDown post-show reviews. We do go live on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, and Kick for every live episode. And of course, if you ever miss them, you can head on over to Apple and Spotify, where there's a whole library of episodes for you to catch up on. But if you do want to see the video formats of these podcasts when we do originally record them, head on over to our YouTube channel, where they're all there for you in order. Then follow Snug Wrestling everywhere on all social media, Apple and Spotify, and grab your merch at teepublic.com. That's T-E-E like a t-shirt.com/snug wrestling. And until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And before I do the closer, I would like to pat ourselves on the back because we haven't mentioned this yet. Snug Wrestling, we've been around for 3 years now, and this panel style has been around for nearly 2. And I just want to say to all of our fans and our followers and watchers that we'd like to thank every one of you guys for always sticking with us and being here as we've progressed with the show. Some news we never got to announce is that we finally joined a podcast network. We were approached and we have signed with a podcast network. So we are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and growing. And that is so much in large part thanks to you guys for always downloading the episodes, always supporting the channel and this four-man panel of myself, Mr. Blood, the founder and creator of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, the incomparable Toxic, and the energetic Tommy. And I would like to say from all of us to all of you, that was one time for the one time. I said that was four
letters.
One word.
One word.
Yeet. We thank every single one of you guys. Can't wait to keep making these with you.